Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and this is Windows Server 2012 step-by-step tutorial, and this is 20th video in this series. And today in this video I am going to show you how to create pulled VDI with remote desktop services on Windows Server 2012 R2. So there are basically there are two type of VDI solution when you talk about the Microsoft VDI solution, remote desktop solution. The first one is pulled and second one is personal. So personal, I have already given you the video, which is 16th video. What is difference between pulled and personal? In a personal VDI mode, the users are always going to get their personal virtual machine desktop. For example, if VDI 10 is assigned to me, whenever I am going to log into VDI's remote desktop services for a VDI, I am going to get the login for that particular same VDI every time, which is VDI 10, which is statically basically assigned to me. So whenever I logged into remote desktop services, it does not matter from where. Whenever I log in, I am going to get that machine only. VDI 10, which is assigned to personally assigned to me. And a pulled VDI solution where we have option to dynamically assign next available free virtual machine to user. So means in the pulled VDI session, in the pulled VDI remote desktop solutions, user is not going to bind with any particular VDI or virtual machines. The user, whenever the user is going to logged in the remote desktop services, is going to see which next virtual machine is available, VDI is available, and the remote desktop services is going to assign that virtual machine to that user, particular user. And also in a pulled VDI solution, we have option where we can simply enable one feature. Whenever the user gets logged off, the virtual machine going to revert to its original state. So we are going to see how all this work and how we can basically use this in our environment. So let's move to the next slide, and here is my demo environment which I have in this demo. So the first machine is Win2K12 DC01, which is my Active Directory DNS and DHCP role. So I additionally installed DHCP role on my Active Directory server. Here you can go and see the Active Directory DHCP and DNS role. You can see this is my DC01, and now if I go to my DHCP, which I have just installed, you can see I have created one scope. This scope basically the address pool, you can see this scope I have basically created. Whenever the VDI comes online, they are going to get the IP address from this LAN, from this scope, and they are going to configure the IP configuration and join machine in domain. So the DHCP is must required before you deploy the VDI environment. So this is the backend thing. And the next, I have one RDS session host, RDS remote desktop services server, which is going to host a connection broker and RD web. So this is RDS01. If you see here, this is a brand new machine. I have not installed anything on this. This machine is only configured IP address and join in my domain. And the last machine I have a Win2K12 HV01, which is my Hyper-V server where the all virtual machine is going to create. This machine having 64 gig of RAM and IP address, and this machine 192.168.1.252, and this machine is joined in my domain. So here you can see this machine is also IP configured, renamed, and domain joined, and this machine having 64 gig of RAM in this machine. So we are good to go. So now what I'm going to do, and also we have a 3 thin client machine, which is a Windows 7 thin client machine. You can see here these machine I will use to connect to my take the remote desktop of my VDI solution. So all these machines are Windows 7. You can go here and see Windows 7 client machine. So let's start now and begin the installation. So I'm going on click on my RDS01, and I'm going to add the HV01 server here. So this is my Hyper-V01 server I'm going to add here. So now you can see in all server I have this HV01 and RDS. I'm going to start the performance counter, so if we have any performance related issues, it's going to report it. So now we are good to go. Click on add roles and feature, click next, and this is remote desktop services installation, so click next. I'm going to select the standard deployment. This deployment allow you to deploy remote desktop services across multiple servers. So I'm going to install a remote desktop connection broker on RDS01 and RDWeb on RDS01 and the Hyper-V role on HV01. So click next. In deployment scenario, we have a virtual machine desktop deployment because we are going to deploy Vdi Solutions pulled. So click next. And you can see we require three things in this deployment: remote desktop connection broker, remote desktop web access, and virtualization host. Click next. So I'm going to install connection broker on my RDS01. Click next. And RDWeb also on a connection broker server, so click next. And I'm going to install a RD virtualization host on my HV01. So add it and create a new virtual switch on selector server because we don't have Hyper-V role or created any virtual switch on this machine. So we are going to create through this wizard. Click next. So now you can see this machine require a reboot, which is Hyper-V host. So I'm going to tick mark here, restart the destination server automatically if required, and click on deploy. So this wizard going to install these three roles on these two servers and going to reboot this RD virtualization host server few times because we are going to enable the Hyper-V role on this machine. So this machine is our Hyper-V server. So let's wait for a few minutes here. Installation is done for connection broker. Now almost installation is also done for RD web access. Now it's installing the Hyper-V role on RD virtualization host. So soon this wizard will reboot the HV01. So you can see in few seconds. Now you can see it's saying restarting, so the server must be restarting. You can see RD HV01 is now restarting. So after reboot, it's going to have a Hyper-V role installed on this machine. So let's wait for reboot to complete. It's rebooting again. So now I'm going to log into this machine. So you can see now reboot is completed. It's configuring the connection broker succeeded, and RD web access role is also succeeded, and it's working on RD virtualization host now. It's configuring the role. Might be it's going to take some time because it's going to configure all the things in a Hyper-V settings. Like it's going to create a RD switch, virtual switch in Hyper-V. So we have to wait for a few seconds here. Now you can see we are done with this and everything looks good. We can close this, and now you can see we have a one Hyper-V server, one IIS for RD web access role on two remote desktop services. So if I go here on remote desktop services, you can see we have two deployment servers. We have a RD web access and connection broker on RDS01 and RD virtualization host on 01. So before creating a collection to assign a pulled VDI, if I go here and create a virtual desktop collection and click next, name it like pulled VDI, click next, you can see we have a personal and pulled. If I go with the pulled virtual desktop or personal desktop virtual desktop collection, when I click next, it's going to ask a virtual desktop template, so we must need to create one template before creating this virtual machine. So I'm going to create a template now for the VDIs, pulled VDI. So I'm going on my Hyper-V server and Hyper-V manager. I'm just going to verify the switches, so you can see the wizard created this RDS virtual, and I'm going to see where my hard drive is going to locate. So here, so it's good. Now I'm going to create one virtual machine here, right click and new virtual machine, click next. I'm going to type here VDI temp, click next, and this need to be created generation 1, so click next, and I'm going to assign memory for it like 51205 gig. I'm going to connect with the RDS virtual switch, click next, and hard drive I'm going to create only 51 gig, click next. Now I'm going to install it from my media, so I'm going to mount. I have mounted the Windows 8.1 Enterprise installation media here, so I'm going to select my Z drive here, which is DVD drive, click next and click on finish. I'm going to increase the memory processor here, make it 4, click apply. This is a simple Windows 8 installation, so I'm going to install this and create VDI template, and once the installation is completed, I will resume the video from there. So let's proceed with the installation. So please wait. So click I accept the license term, click next, custom Windows installation only, click next. So installation is started. Now I'm going to resume my video once the installation is done for this machine. So pausing the recording for now. So now you can see the installation is completed for Windows 8.1 Enterprise, and now I'm going to install the MS Office on this machine. So it's depend on your requirement, what type of software, what type of application you want to give to users in a pulled VDI environment, like a browser, Adobe Reader or anything. So I'm going to install a basic MS Office 2016 on this machine. I'm going to create an image template basically. So let's wait for this. So I accept the license terms of this agreement. I'm going to click on install now. So it will install all the features which is available in Professional Plus 2016. So this installation will take around 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to pause the recording here, and once the installation is done, I will resume from there. So MS Office 2016 is completed. When close, and now you can see all the application MS Office packages installed here. If I click new apps, you can see Word, Excel, Word and everything there. So this is looking good, and now we can go ahead and create the template. So to create a template, we must need to run a so first I'm going to dismount this installation media here. So going to click none, and now go to C drive. Under the C drive we have a folder called system32. In the system32 we have a sysprep, so going to open it and double click the sysprep. So I'm going to journalize and shut down this machine. So click OK. So this is going to take few seconds or a minute, and then this machine is going to shut down, then we can proceed with the template creation. So this is going to generalize all the settings for this machine, and then we are going to have a brand, basically a syspread virtual machine to create a template. So wait for it. So now you can see the virtual machine is getting syspread shut down. So we are done with this, and now you can see the power status is off. So now we can go ahead and create the template. So collection, so I'm going to click on collections and create a virtual machine collection, click next, and pulled and VDI, pulled VDI, and select the pulled virtual desktop collections, click next. We have our template virtual machine selected, click next, and click next. And this is where you want to put your virtual machine. So I'm going to use my Noida OU to deploy the brand new virtual machines on here. So click next, and to which user you want to give access. So I'm going to use my domain users, all domain users. If you have any specific group or users which you want to allow the pull VDI, you can go ahead and create the user group and then add all the users in that group. So I'm going to have a 3 VDI from in this collection, and I'm going to start with a VDI 0, VDI 0, 1, 2, 3. So click next, and the location we have only one Hyper-V, so all the 3 virtual machine is going to create on this machine. Click next, and store and where you want to store the virtual desktop storage. So store on each RD virtualization host, or store on the network on CSV. If you have a CSV, you can go and store in CSV. So I'm going to store in remote desktop virtual host. So if you don't put anything here, it's going to use the default value this. So I'm going to create one folder here in my D drive because I want to save in my D drive. So under the D drive, I'm going to create one folder new called RD virtualization host, or type it like RD, yes, export, and I'm going to copy this path here and paste it here. So it's going to store here, and click next. And here we have automatically roll back the virtual machine when the user logs off. So whenever the user is going to log off, it's going to revert the machine at the default checkpoint, so, or a snapshot. So click next, and I'm not going to enable the profile disk for now. Click next, and everything looks good here. Just go and click on create. So it's going to create a collection. So now you can see export the virtual desktop. So if I go on now Hyper-V, you can see the machine is getting export from the Hyper-V, and this is basically going to export this machine and then going to create the 3 copies of this machine. So this process will take some time. So 31% completed, so we have to wait for a few seconds here. So I'm going to pause the recording. When the export is done, we will right back. So the export is done now. If I go here, you can see it's creating the virtual machine. Now the virtual machine is being created. So in few seconds we are able to see. Now you can see in RD export we have one folder called pulled VDI. If I open this, you can see the image is there and the virtual hard disk. This virtual hard disk is basically the image copy of this virtual template. So it's going to create the virtual machine now by using this VDI image. So here we are. So now let's wait for a few time. It's going to create now 3 virtual machine. So if I go in my Active Directory, you can see the computer name is also going to create it. It it will create a computer object here under the Noida. So we have to wait for a few seconds here. So in backend it's basically running a copy currently, so it's copying this image from the RD export to here in a virtual desktop image where the machine is going to create. So we have to wait for a few seconds here till the backend copy is initiated and copy is done, then it will create a 3 virtual machines. So let's wait for it. Now you can see the one virtual machine VDI 0 is created, and it's going to configure this virtual machine, and then in the same way it's going to deploy 3 virtual machine, which is VDI 0, VDI 1 and 1 and 2. So I'm going to pause the recording here. Once the creation is done, once all the 3 virtual machine is deployed successfully, I will resume from there and we'll see further options. So pausing the recording for now. So now you can see the pulled VDI collection was created successfully, so we can close this. Now we have a size 3 means 3 virtual machines and the host server. If I go here, you can see all the settings here. So we have a 3 virtual machine all in save state currently. So basically 2 are in save, 1 is in save and 2 is running, and we have here template information, VDI template on this machine, memory and virtual GPU. No, so good to know about all these things. Now if I go here on my Hyper-V host, you can see all 3 machines are created successfully, and you can see all 3 machines having one RDV remote desktop virtual rollback session here for all these 3 machines. So basically whenever the virtual machine user is going to log in, it's going to get the session, and once the user log off, it's going to log off from the sessions and revert the rollback point to the rollback checkpoint. So good to go. Now it's time to test it. So to test it, we need to go here and we can see our web access page. So this is the web access page. So I'm going to copy this page and open in my client machine, which is Windows 7. So I'm going to open a web browser and paste the path. On all 3 virtual machine, I'm going to do the same to test 3 sessions at a time. So click here to continue. We have to do same on all 3. So now I'm on my CL01 machine, so I'm going to type the username Victor Infosol user01 and password for this account and login. Now you can see pulled VDI is there. I'm going to click on it and connect. So it's going to ask the credential again. So Victor Infosol user01 and password for this user, and same I'm going to do on my second machine, Victor Infosol user02. So I'm going to access this machine from 3 different user accounts. So click on connect, Victor Infosol user02 and password for this account. So as we are logging up first time, it's going to create a local profile on all the machines. So it's going to take some while, so we have to wait for it. Oops, something wrong in credentials. So Victor Infosol user03 and the password for this account. Click on it. So you can see we got the access to VDI 1. So if I go here, you can see this is VDI 01 machine, and I have all the applications here like Word. So I can go here and launch the MS Word. So it's good to know. So user 01 got the access on host name on VDI1, and same, let's verify user 02 got the access on user 02, and if I go here and type host name user 02 VDI 02, and it's still taking time to log in for users 3, so we can go here and close this. And now if I go here and refresh, we will see the accent. So you can see the virtual machine is assigned to these users, so good to know. So just wait for this machine to assign to use CL03, which is user 03. So we can see all the machines having the operating system. So what I am going to test here, I am going to type one notepad here, type Vikas, and I'm going to save on the desktop of user 01, so call it save it. Oops, we basically saved in document, I think. So put it on desktop. Same I'm going to do on my user 02 to check the snapshot is getting revert or not. So desktop and type Vikas. So you can see on two machines I have, and let's try this machine which operating. So this is user 03 on VDI 01, so good. And now I'm going to launch the word. So you can see we have logged in from all three accounts on three different machines, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to log off these machines and see what's going to happen on my Hyper-V host. So you can see all the three machines here. You can see it's stop turning off, and restoring. Means this machine is now getting refreshed from the checkpoint which was automatically created. So you can see basically all the machines are got rebooted. So we have verified the machine is got rebooted and the snapshot has been reverted. So let's verify one more time and see if the it's taking the file is there or no. So I'm going to log in from user 01. Before this user 01 got the access to VDI1, and now this time maybe it will get the access to any different machine. So we'll see where the machine is going to redirect. So it's now, you can see it's redirecting to same VDI1. So just wait for a few seconds here. It's creating the Rooker profile once again on this machine. So now you can see we don't have a Vika word file which we was created in last session. So this is how we can create the pulled VDI with the remote desktop services on Windows Server 2012 R2. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe me for more videos. And if you have any query, any question related to this, you can always post me on my given mail IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.